Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. This is Ankai Media. We are your hosts. My name is Ocean Simeone.
I'm Taylor Vera.
Ladies and gentlemen, on this episode, we're going to give you guys our take of the freshly released Lucasfilm and Disney Plus TV series, but not Star Wars, Willow. This is a classic movie, or a classic continuation on a movie that came out in the late 80s. This is the bastard child of George Lucas, kind of, right? Because obviously everybody knows George Lucas created Star Wars, but George Lucas also created Willow and this story as well. So, you hadn't seen this movie, or you hadn't seen the original movie prior to last week, right?
Yeah.
And I actually grew up with it, so I was pretty familiar with it. And I think that's kind of like the story for the general public. Like there's like half of the people never even heard about it.
You've seen it
or you're a big
never
fan.
Even known of its existence.
Yeah.
I didn't know about it. So
yeah, so it's kind of we got this TV series kind of out of the blue. Nobody was really expecting it. I don't think anybody was really calling for more either. Not when they announced it, I wasn't necessarily mad that they were making more. So, but we're gonna talk about some reasons why that maybe they shouldn't have made more. But we'll talk about that later, ladies and gentlemen. We'll do this in traditional fashion. Spoiler free section first. Dive into some scores, and then we'll get into the spoilers. So, join us on this journey. Taylor, my first question: what did you think of the original 1988 film of Willow?
So the movie Willow, I guess try to keep it brief. I thought it was all right. It had some very cool like effects and stuff, and like a lot of interesting ideas. I felt like it had a lot of shortcommings too, which
it's very indicative of its time.
Yeah, I mean for sure,
indicative.
but like some of the effects were like great. Like honestly,
for a 1988 film,
right? I mean, even now, because like, I mean, of course they have it like remastered or whatever in 4K on Disney Plus, but just the style that of certain things that they do in the movie, I can tell heavily influenced completely different other movies. Yeah, like just in the industry, you know.
Right.
So I thought that was pretty cool. The story as a whole, I felt was real basic.
Yeah.
But yeah, just as a movie itself, like it was okay.
Yeah. This is a movie that like I watched a lot as a kid. Actually, my dad showed it to us when we were like relatively young, and I don't know. I loved Med Mardigan.
Yeah, I mean, I could
as a kid,
honestly I could see as a kid this movie being, or the original movie being like pretty awesome. Honestly,
yeah.
It's just
no, go ahead.
As an adult now, it's
a little
like
bit different.
Yeah, it's a lot different. But I could definitely see like if I was, when like back and I'm only like I don't know 10 or something, and I was watching this, I'd be like, wow, this is awesome.
Right.
Yeah, it's got a lot of cool things in it.
It does for sure. Watching it, I rewatched it the other day before we watched the new series because I haven't watched it in a while, but rewatched it, and I still liked the movie. I still enjoyed it. It brought back a lot of memories for me as a kid and whatnot. But I can definitely tell where their shortcomings are, and it also like I can tell a lot of parallels between this movie and a lot of other movies. Like the Lord of the Rings and some other stuff. But I still enjoyed it. And one of the things that I just wanted to touch on real quick that kind of like when I rewatched it, I was like, oh, I had never really thought about that back then, right? Because I was young. Yeah. But in the original film, in the beginning, when they're in the Nelwynds, I think they're called Nelwynds. I
think so.
The little... The dwarves are the little people.
Yeah.
They're all little people.
Yeah.
Which is like
it's actually impressive.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Because like nowadays, you could probably pretty easily find that many little people.
I don't know. That's a lot.
There was a lot. We're talking about an entire village.
But
it'd be easier nowadays.
I guess just because everything is so more connected.
Yeah.
But it's still doing it nowadays to me would still be kind of
Pretty
crazy
impressive.
because it's like, sure, I'm sure it's not like that uncommon, I guess, but collecting that, because it's a lot of people.
I would say there's at least 100.
Like, yeah, it was.
I would say there's at least 100 little people in the original film, and I thought it was like when I was watching, I was like, man, they found this many little people in 1988 that wanted to be a part of this film.
It's kind of like the equivalent of like whenever they did Lord of the Rings and they had all those people as Uruk-hai.
Yeah,
it's like finding all those like huge
buff,
dudes, like all get dressed up and stuff. Like that's crazy.
Yeah, it was really impressive, but I'm glad that you somewhat enjoyed the movie. It's a little piece of my childhood, so I'm glad that you did. Now, let's talk about the 2022 TV series that just aired. I believe there's three episodes out now. We are doing an initial impressions, ladies and gentlemen, so we're only going to talk about the first episode, and then once the full season comes out, we'll do a final impressions, but we're just going to talk about the first episode. So what did you think of the first episode of Willow, the TV series?
So I can't say like I thought the movie was, pretty good, but with that being said, I can't say like I'm a huge like fan or whatever.
Right.
But for this show, to me, it was literally like 150%, like the pinnacle of Disney fucking dumpster fire of an abomination.
I'm so glad that you feel that way. I'm so glad that somebody that literally just found out what Willow is last week feels that Disney Plus just slapped Willow in the face. That's what's so interesting
to me is like, if you're a Willow fan, that's not me.
Yeah.
But even having watched Willow for the first time just before I watched this, literally the day before, this is an abomination
compared to it. Yeah. I was really disappointed. I'm not gonna lie. I was really disappointed in this first episode, and we'll talk about some very specific reasons why. And my opinion may not be the most popular among people, but I was really disappointed. I will give credit that there are some good things about it, and like there's I don't want to call them redeeming factors because to me it doesn't make it better to me, but it just kind of like it kind of softens the blow a little bit. But so far I'm really disappointed, especially as somebody that grew up with Willow and loved Willow as a kid. I'm really disappointed in this. So
I don't know. Honestly, there's things that sure aren't bad, but I shit you not, this is literally as equally bad to me as Halo.
Oh, damn. Okay.
And I honestly do not plan to watch another episode.
Yeah.
The last moment of this episode, literally, like I was like laughing the whole time watching through this show, and the final moment in this episode perfectly encapsulate like my feelings towards it, because it's just so bad. Yeah. It's seriously like how we felt about Pray for the Devil. Yeah. But in a show. Yeah. In one episode.
Yeah. It was pretty disappointing. I'm gonna what we'll do is we'll reverse the roles for what we did for Halo.
I was just saying I might just skip everything until the end, watch the last episode.
I'll take one for the team and I'll watch the rest of the season so that we can do a final impressions on it.
And the only reason I'm okay with doing that is literally for Warwick Davis. Yeah. Because I mean there's some other good actors in here that I like, but they're all relatively smaller. I like Warwick Davis, but I kind of wish you weren't involved in this.
No, I agree. So, all right. So that you guys as the viewers can get an idea of why we feel this way, we're going to push forward a little bit so that we can get into the spoilers and talk about specifically why. All right. So as far as scores go, I'm going to give this a 3, I think, because it was bad. I didn't like it. I was pretty disappointed. There are a few things that are kind of okay and made me laugh. But outside of that, like I was pretty disappointed. And I'm not too hopeful for the future. I don't think this is as bad as Halo was, as far as like Halo, to me, there was no possible way that they could have turned around the series at all. Like 0% chance with what they did in the first episode. This, it's still unlikely to me, but
no.
It's not as...
Don't worry about it. I got you.
It's not as... the chances are maybe like 15-20% instead of 0%. So... We'll
see.
Yeah.
We'll see about that.
I'll see. I'll watch it. I'll take one for the team, and we'll hopefully get through it. But yeah, that's my score, 3.
Yeah, I'll give this a 2. It functions. You can press play, something plays, something happens on screen, and then it comes to an end.
Yeah. All right. Let's dive into the spoiler section so that we can talk about why, because there's a lot that needs to be talked about. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you have not watched this series yet, if you are a Willow fan, do not watch it. Just don't. Wait a little while.
If you're not a Willow fan, also don't watch this.
Yeah, like if you're a Willow fan, don't watch it until later on when there's more episodes out, and maybe we give you guys an update and let you know whether or not it's worth watching in the end. If you're not a Willow fan, you're not missing anything either. If you have absolutely nothing else to watch, you should probably rewatch Wednesday or something. But
go watch Pinocchio. Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio.
Yeah,
that just came out.
I don't recommend watching it in its current state. I don't recommend watching it. So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, this is your official
spoiler alert.
Man, I'm so disappointed. So disappointed because, like, I know we've gotten a lot of good nostalgia things recently. You know, Maverick for Top Gun and some other stuff, but just I don't know why I got my hopes up with Disney, but man, why did you guys have to do, like,
it's honestly,
it's not even like one or two things. There are probably 5 or 6 things off the top of my head that I could think of that are just horrible and like shouldn't be in here. And why did you do it? All right, like let's talk about the elephant in the room. All right, and I want to preface this conversation with the fact that I am not sexist or against like gay or lesbian stuff at all. Like, if that's you do you. Like, I'm not against it at all. But why do we have it in Willow? Like, why are you interjecting this stuff into something that is pre-established? Now, I understand that you guys are trying to create equality, right? I get that, and I'm all for it. But make new stuff that involves your equality-based things. Don't try and take things that are already pre-established and made and retroactively interject your ideals into them. Yeah, I don't understand why they're doing it. I don't understand why they're trying to interject these things into something that's pre-established. I'm all for new stuff, but to me, it demeans the idea of Willow and everything, and it doesn't. I don't want to say it doesn't stay true to Willow, but it just, like, Willow was never about love stories and like your sexual identity. Like, that was never a part of Willow. Like, why are we adding that into this? Like, I wanted to watch this and just have a good time. I didn't want to have to sit here and think about whether or not, you know, societal norms are accepting of people's gender identity and their sexual identity. Like, that's not what Willow was. I don't understand why they're doing that now with Willow. So it's really frustrating.
I know why they're doing it. It's just it's the Disney move.
Yeah, I'm really frustrated by it.
Disney does this for everything nowadays.
Yeah. Like, it's so frustrating. I don't get it. I don't understand why. So, yeah, that's probably my biggest complaint with the movie or the series. And honestly, like, I could tell it was coming from the very beginning. That opening scene of them fighting with their swords and then talking afterwards, I immediately knew what was coming. I immediately knew.
I don't know if I would say it's probably not my biggest complaint, but it's definitely one of the many.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, let's be honest, like, it just doesn't need to be here.
It doesn't need to be in there.
There's so many things wrong with this show, all right? First of all, let's just start with the very beginning, right? With the fight scene you're talking about that it opens with. First of all, who are any of these people? Yeah. Like, why are you starting with this as the beginning of the story? Secondly, they literally pull a Rise of Skywalker in this fucking show. And they're like, if you watch the first Willow, this happened. Just kidding. Here we go again. The same thing. For some reason, it's the same thing all over again. For some stupid reason, because Disney. And then on top of that, you have all these brand new characters that I had, like I said, I had just watched Willow right before. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, I thought I had an idea of what Willow was. And then this fucking episode comes out. I'm like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
I don't know any of these people. I don't know what's going on. Nothing feels right. Like, all these people are different too. And then you're like, now there's fucking Queen Sorsha. And it's like, what? And then her entire character is completely different than her original character. The only thing that she had that was close to the same thing as the first Willow is her sword. But even her sword doesn't even look the same because it's brand new. Yeah. Looks nothing like the original one because she was an evil soldier then. And she's just entirely different. The story, the main plot, entirely different from the original Willow, except for the fact that it involves another baby. Yeah. And it still involves Willow. That's it. Everything else, totally brand new, has all these fucking weird characters and arcs. You have these two lesbians. One of them is apparently the daughter of Mad Mardigan. And then you have this other, like, piece of shit fuckboy son of Mad Mardigan. And it's like, and then top of the entire time, they're just shitting on Mad Mardigan.
Yeah.
And I was like, bro, he was literally the best thing of the first movie, or the movie. And
that's
it's like,
probably my biggest complaint, actually.
How are you going to take all of the entire movie that came out all those years ago and completely reverse all of this character progression? And you're like, nah, Mad Mardigan just left because he's just like, fuck you, I don't want to do this shit. What? Dude, I just watched this movie and we went through his entire character arc, and now you're like, no, that didn't happen. We're going back to the beginning.
Yeah.
And they do that with everything. And they're just trying to redo everything. The only thing that is like semi-okay in this damn thing is like the special effects. But I kind of expect that to be better nowadays. Right, so it's not really a positive. And on top of that, they had some new stuff, which is fucking weird. And they have like the mouth of Sauron with these fucking chain whips for some fucking reason. Looks cool, but why the hell is he here? They have the Immortal from 300 with a cage on his head. Again, looks cool. Why is he here? And like the even the fucking weird like he's like almost out of like Clash of the Titans or something. And he's got like fucking mummy wraps all over him with a stick, and he's just like, I'm a fucking wizard.
And I can disappear and reappear.
And then you have like some new characters, all right? There was the son of a king for some reason that's getting forced married to the daughter for some weird reason. I guess for some kingdom thing, but it's like, where did this kingdom come from? Like, what is all this crap that you're throwing at me that was not in the original Willow? I don't understand.
Well, so there were multiple kingdoms in the original Willow, but the problem that I have is that they are, like you said, they are regressing all of the character arcs and the things that made Willow, the original Willow, so great, right? For example, like you talked about Mad Mardigan. This is probably my second biggest issue. Gives the whole lesbian thing a run for its money in it as the first issue, but I'm guessing that they're going to like bring it back later in the episode or later in the season where like Mad Mardigan didn't just up and leave, that he had to go or whatever, he got trapped or this and that or whatever. right? Like, I'm hoping that's what they do, because if they just write off Madmartigan as a character, not only is that a disservice to the original Willow and the original Madmartigan,
if he's supposed to be in here, he's not on the cast list. So
what?
I said if he's supposed to be here, he's not on the cast list.
I don't think he's gonna come back, because it was said before that Val Kilmer is not returning as Madmartigan. But what I'm hoping is that they explain later on that he didn't just leave, that he had to go to protect this or that, and then he like died or he got trapped or something. It's stupid as fuck.
It's horrible writing, because it doesn't explain how that would only make sense if Queen Sorsha was the one that would be like, oh, nobody knows except for me. Somebody has to know. Like, it makes no sense for that to be the case. That would be their only fucking reach that they could do, but it'd be horrible.
No, I don't disagree that it would be dumb and that they shouldn't do it, but that I'm guessing that's what they're gonna do, because if they don't, they just ruined Willow in general, and they just did a horrible disservice to Val Kilmer. Like, the only reason why Madmartigan isn't in this series is because Val Kilmer can't play him, and they're not gonna recast Madmartigan. But Val Kilmer is just physically incapable of playing him, so they're. But then if they just write him off, they're just like saying, screw you to Madmartigan, screw you to the original Willow, and screw you to Val Kilmer. So
yeah, but if they, I don't know. They're like, I feel like everything that is fucked in this is intentional, and so I don't think that they would ever give a fuck about any of that, because if they did, your best option is to just kill him off and let him die.
Yeah,
and not include him. But they do. In a horrible way.
It's so bad.
And they just destroy the character.
It's so like nonchalant too. Like, they just talk about it like it's not a big deal, that they're like, oh yeah, my dad left to go protect Elora Danan, and he just chose her over us. And it's
and then we get this stupid
what? Like, what are you talking about?
Fucking this is literally like C with the kids. They're just so cringy and stupid.
Well, now that I think about it, it doesn't even make sense what she said, because if he really did go off to protect Elora Danan and then stick with her, why the fuck is she the goddamn handmaid in the castle? Which, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, apparently this blonde chick, which I guess brown hair, brown hair can turn to blonde hair when you grow up. Like, not just dirty blonde hair, but just like straight up white hair.
Yeah.
Because like the original baby in the Willow. Original Willow did not have even remotely close to blonde hair. Like, if you tell me that baby grew up to be that, you're lying out your ass. All right? Like, you're lying, because there's no way. There's no way. The baby had brown eyes and like brown hair, like brown, like your color brown hair.
No,
and now she has blue eyes and is white haired. Like, that doesn't make any sense, unless they like are gonna say, oh, they did a spell or whatever. Like, but that's horrible writing. That's like that's such a dumb gimmick in order to explain away this bullshit. So I'm gonna be honest. I fully thought that the curly haired lesbian girl was Elora Danan. I fully thought that's who it was.
I knew it was the fucking handmaiden, because there'd be no reason to include this character otherwise.
I just thought she was just the boyfriend's side piece, and then once she went after him and stuff, I was like, all right, this is a little weird. But I thought it was a curly haired girl, because it made sense to me. The baby kind of maybe could have had red hair, so I was like, all right. And the baby's hair is kind of curly, so I was like, all right, that's a easier reach than anything else. But
nah, so you're trying to make.
I know.
You're trying to make sense of this garbage.
I know.
And it doesn't.
Yeah.
The moments. So this is another thing. It's like, again, like the fuckboy son just has this little side chick, because apparently he just sleeps with everybody.
Right.
And it's like, okay, you want to play that stereotype.
Sure.
And then it's like, this chick, like, I knew from the moment they set off on their journey and that she was still there. I'm like, she's the baby. Because there's no reason for her to be included.
Right.
Because everybody that gets set off on this fellowship has to be important for some stupid reason.
Right.
Even though, like, it kind of makes no sense. Like, there's the most random group of people to send on this fucking mission.
We gotta go save the queen's son, who was kidnapped by these evil entities that just absolutely wrecked everybody. So we're gonna send the queen's daughter, her side, or like her chick, the daughter's like bride or groom to be.
First, it starts off as the daughter because she thinks she's some
like,
kind of thing. But I will say,
my brother.
The Alora's clapback was so good.
Which one?
She's literally like, this is not just some like fun little adventure we're going on. It's gonna be dangerous. Have you ever been in a real fight?
Oh yeah, she's like, have you?
And she's like, yeah, bitch, shut up.
Yeah.
You haven't done a damn thing yourself. All that stupid training you did getting in the way. You look like an idiot. I'm sorry.
Well, not like,
you're nothing.
You did training, nothing. But then when you actually were confronted with a foe to defeat, like nobody did anything. Like,
no, everybody sucks.
You guys got wrecked.
Everybody is just trash.
Let's talk about that for a second here.
Except for one guy.
We'll save that because we'll save it. So let's talk about these villain dudes who you can see on the top left of this image. So I guess they're called the Gales.
Yep.
Don't know what they are. They were never mentioned in anything else in the original Willow, whatever, which is fine. We get new villains because the original villain, well, we thought she was gone, but apparently she's not.
Known to have powers that are unnatural.
So they have this barrier, right, around this kingdom.
For some reason.
They have a barrier that is supposed to protect their kingdom, right?
Even you can walk right through it.
But apparently if you are Laura Dannon, you can just walk through it, which that was kind of when I knew she was something different, because I was just like, she just walked, like, what? I was just, so this barrier, you just walk through it. Yep. And then on top of that, they have these gates in the barrier.
Yep.
And the gate was unmanned.
Yep.
And they just brush it off. Like it was just like, yeah, whatever. No big deal. The gate to our kingdom is not protected.
So, first of all, I don't know why they have this mystical force field. Like,
what does it do?
Who the fuck made this thing? I know they say, but it's like,
it's probably Willow.
There's no way,
right? Or no, it wasn't Willow. It was the sorceress, the female sorceress from
whoever helped Willow.
Yeah, but it doesn't make any sense.
There's no way, dude. There's no way you're that powerful to create this. Like, I just watched the movie. You did jack shit. You are not powerful enough to make this giant force field over this massive piece of land, and on top of that, have this coincidental like chasm that goes around the entire landmass. So you can't just like, not only is there a force field, but you can't just like walk over it, except for Allura, who finds this fucking tree that fell down coincidentally. That chasm's
actually in the original Willow. They're when they first start off going to the big people village, they cross a chasm over a felled tree just like that. So that's like a callback, but
either way, in fact, in this particular show too, somehow CGI looks worse in this scene when Allura walks over and the tree falls. I'm like, wow, that's pretty shit. Like some impressively bad CG for considering everything else. They also steal like whenever there's like the opening scene with the villains and stuff, they steal like Harry Potter's like actually cool like poof, where they like teleport and it's got like black smoke effect and stuff. It looks great. Yeah. Looks cool in this, but Harry Potter did it first. So.
Well, I don't understand how those guys are they the ones that killed everybody at the gate? I don't know where
they came from. Like, you're right. There was nobody at the gate. It's so funny because they're like, there's no way you can get past this almighty barrier. Door's just wide open.
Yeah.
Probably all of them, I imagine, if nobody was standing at this one.
Yeah. It was really, yeah. So then they like attack and they steal the queen's son. Like, why? Like, why are you like, if you're, okay, so if we're going to go off of the threat that they tell us in the beginning, right? The narration by Queen Sorsha, she's like, we thought we defeated my mother, but really her spirit still lives and one day she'll come back and to kill the child, and so we must hide the child even from herself, blah, 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 blah. It's like, okay, all right, if that's the big bad threat that you want to do, which I think is retarded because it's literally just the same movie again, but
said bad. Really, really
if that's
bad.
What you're going to do, how does it make any sense for you to send your little minions into the kingdom that's protected by this big dome and attack the kingdom and then steal or kidnap the queen's son. If you're going after the Elora Danan, and you don't know who she is because nobody knows who she is.
Yeah.
Why would you kidnap the queen's son? Well, you think they just changed his gender too or something? Like, that doesn't make, like, that's the most retarded thing ever.
Did
like,
you just assume?
My bad. Actually, he could be a girl. I don't know. My bad. No, but I just, it doesn't, like, as I'm sitting here now putting all these pieces together, because honestly, after I was done watching it, I wanted to just, like, push it out of my brain. Like, I even texted you and I was like, hey, we're just doing an initial impressions, right? Because I don't feel like watching the other 2 episodes tonight. Yeah. But it doesn't make any sense. Why would you kidnap the queen's son? It doesn't, like, why? What purpose does he serve? Unless they somehow knew that the girl that he says he is in love with and wants to marry is the real Elora Danan, so you're trying to, like, you're trying to lure her out. But even that doesn't make any sense, because how the hell would you know that? And if you knew that, why wouldn't you just take her? Because if you take her, nobody gives a shit, because she's just a fucking handmaid.
As far as everybody else knows.
Like, what? And if that really is Elora Danan, why is Queen Sorsha she just like doesn't pay attention to her at all? Like, she sneaks out and there's no, like, oh my God. I'm having an aneurysm thinking about this. Jesus.
Dude, this show is so bad.
It is. It is really bad. And it's really bad. Let's talk about Willow real quick. Warwick Davis.
He's there for like a minute.
Yeah, this show is literally called Willow, but we see Willow for 2 minutes in this episode. Yeah. So the Queen's son gets kidnapped. The Fellowship sets out to go rescue him, and they're told to go find Willow, right? Why is Willow not inside the force field? Like, why is Willow's, like, they made this force field, right? I try to imagine the perspective of the sorceress that created this force field, and they're like, all right, we're going to protect this kingdom from the outside world and all these. But yeah, you, Willow, the hero of the original story, you're screwed. Like, you're on your own, bud. Like, sorry, figure yourself out. We're just going to protect ourselves. Like, what? That doesn't make any sense either. No. But so they find Willow, right? They make it to his village. His village is destroyed, which I guess is just because he lives outside the barrier.
I guess.
Right? And, like, kudos to Warwick Davis, because, like, I like Warwick Davis, but I even had problems with Willow's character. Like, it didn't, I don't know. He seemed like, I don't want to say off. He just seemed different, but not like a good different. You know what I mean? How did you feel about Willow, the character, in this series?
I mean, we don't really see a whole lot of them, but when we do, it's a shell. Of what Willow is.
That's a good way of putting it.
Like,
it's a good way of putting it.
It's Warwick Davis, and it's cool to see him, but you can feel that it's just like,
I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Yeah, I'm just here for money because, the script they gave me is pretty garbage. This whole plot's bad, and yep.
And then he kind
of just enforces like the, we gotta go on an adventure again and save people again.
He's like, we gotta go beyond the Shattered Sea, and like that all sounds cool and dandy. And then halfway through the conversation, he just stops and stares at this chick, the girl, Elora Danan. He's like, "Oh, it's good to see you. Hello, Elora." And it's like, all right, okay. Like you said, her response is the perfect embodiment of this entire series. What?
Yeah.
Like, that's not literally what, by the way, that's literally what she says at the end.
It's hilarious.
It's great. Like, I think it's freaking hilarious.
Not in a good way. Like, but it's so hilarious that she was literally, what? And then it cuts into this like wild transition into like an entirely different, like, what do you call it? Credit scene. Yeah, with a rock song. You're like, what the fuck did I just watch?
No, that's exactly how I felt. I was just because I was watching it with my older sister last night, and she's
sorry for your loss.
Well, she likes Willow too because she grew up with it just like me. And we watched Willow, the original Willow, right before. So like I said, it brings back a lot of memories, nostalgia, all that.
Yeah.
And at the end of it, we're both just like, what?
Yeah, so whenever, literally, the moment it stopped and it's like playing in the credits, I'm like, I turned to Scarlett, I'm like, you watched Willow, right? And she's like, yeah. And it's like, you liked it, right? And she's like, yeah. What did you feel about this? And she's like, oh, it was really bad. I'm like, good, okay, good. Like, I just wanted to make sure, because I'm not like a fan.
Yeah.
That at least I like understand that this is just trash.
Yeah.
And it's not like I was missing something.
Right. That because you're not a Willow fan, you don't get it.
Yeah.
No. You're right in the fact that this was just straight trash. It was horrible.
I promise you, this is Disney doo. Like,
yeah.
I can't stress it enough. Like, everything is so bad. Everything's different. It's seriously insulting to Willow to me.
It really is.
Entirely. Everything about it. The only good things was like I said, the effects, but that's not really a positive because it's kind of expected. Yeah. I mean, like if you made it worse somehow, I would be surprised.
I might be impressed, actually.
Yeah, I might be impressed to be worse.
How do you guys?
So that's not really a plus. You're just keeping up with the times.
Yeah.
And sometimes even then you were still falling short. And on top of that, there's like 2 characters that I think were actually good in this show.
Yeah, let's talk about what's his name?
The other king's son, which is Graydon Huster.
Oh, you like him?
I think he actually acts like he plays his character.
No, I would agree, and I'm actually part of what makes me want to watch this show, like not actually what makes, but why would you willing to watch the show is to see his character arc, because I actually think that if there were legitimate writers behind the show and actually cared and wanted to make the show good, you could do a lot with his character because he presents himself.
Seemingly so, yeah.
Well, I'm just like we're talking about in a perfect world, right? He
has room to grow,
right? Because he presents.
It's just a dumpster fire.
He presents himself as this like
for what others.
Just I don't know.
It's just
goody two shoe boy, like rich boy. That
not even that. He's just so like nonchalant about everything. Like he's just
also like reads and understands different languages that nobody else knows.
Yeah, he's like secretly smart.
And I also think he probably has. I mean, he's got to have some level of combat training because he's a king's son.
Yeah,
and that's
like,
just of that time. Like that's what
it's
happened.
Funny that he doesn't want to do it, but honestly, if I was in a situation, I wouldn't want to do it. I'm like, he's like, you're gonna let your wife go off and fight.
It's not ideal, but I
can learn to live with it. Yeah, just like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So I actually do like him. And then the other guy who I like, I don't know if you do, but the Cleaver dude. I don't know what his name is.
Thraxus.
Yeah.
He's the coolest character in this. However, why is he here?
Yeah. Well,
he has like...
Well, he's the best Mad Mardigan is what he is.
Right. But it doesn't make any sense because they act like you're supposed to know who this guy is the entire time.
Sorsha goes down to the dungeon.
They basically treat him like fucking Geralt from The Witcher. And it's like, who is this guy?
Yeah.
Like literally, he's in a dungeon underneath this kingdom,
and he's
treated just like Geralt. Where they're like, "Oh,
save us!
Yeah, please save us!" And like in the middle of the battle, they release him, and he's like, "Fetch me cleaver," and he's actually really cool once he's actually like doing stuff.
It was funny. But it's I thought you were gonna drop her. My bad.
Yeah, but it's like I said, it's just like, where did you come from?
Yeah.
So the fact that you're cool is not okay still, because I don't know why you're here.
Yeah, I don't like when TV shows or movies do this thing of just dropping characters into a story half baked and expecting us to understand all of the ingredients that make that character. You know what I mean? Like we don't know who this guy is at all. Nope. Like they make it seem like he's from the original.
He's basically
But we don't know who the fuck he is.
He's skilled fighter, tracker. Yeah. He's traveled far distances and lands.
He knows
he's like
the
the
outside
guide
world
/ soldier. Basically, he is the Fellowship. Like,
yeah,
aside from the fact that he's not Willow, like he's basically.
They should have just sent him to go find Willow and just made it him and Willow, and I would have actually liked the series.
I don't know about that, but that would have made more sense than what the fuck they do.
Yeah.
Instead, they send their stupid daughter, and then because she went, the lover has to go.
Yeah.
And also because she's going, the future husband has to go.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, of course, they got to go find Willow, and because they all suck ass, Thraxis has to go.
Yeah.
And then eventually they discover Elora. It's just like, dude, you were doomed from the beginning.
Yeah. So now what happens, right? Now where do they go from here? You have this hodgepodge of characters that nobody cares about, nobody likes. And then you have Elora Danan, who is the single most important person in the entire fucking universe, and she's just out in the middle of nowhere, completely exposed to anything that could happen to her. So where do you go from now? Are you going to continue on and go find the Queen's son and potentially risk the lives of everybody in the entire world? And nobody really cares about him anyway? Yeah, that's what's going to happen to him.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. Yeah. I don't know what's wrong with you.
I want to say there was also this, I don't know, I thought it was really bad and also insulting, as they had this scene where Queen Sorsha comes out and sorry, but you weren't good in the first one. I definitely don't like you in this one either. But she comes out and she like pulls out her sword and it plays the Willow theme. And I'm like, yeah. That would be cool if you weren't trash. But because you are, you just ruined this moment.
Why
and now the song gets ruined because it's on a stupid little thing that you did.
Why is she so bad now? Like what? I don't get it. Like at the end of her character arc, it was like the same thing with like Mad Mardigan, right? We saw her character arc throughout the original Willow, and the way that it leaves it off.
I thought her entire character and arc in the beginning, the first movie, was horrible too. But
it's very like unbelievable,
entirely different in this, so it's even worse.
Yeah,
it's like the complete opposite. So I didn't like it then, but it's even worse now because you're doing the opposite of that, and it's like it didn't work either way.
Disney, come on.
Like, honestly, the Sorsha and Mad Morgan thing, like the stupid love thing, was honestly one of the biggest weak points, I thought, of the entire first movie. Because it was just so forced and just completely unbelievable of every single thing that happens to them. And they literally have like a Han Solo Leia moment when they're like music's playing and they're like about them, like, oh, well, there's George Lucas for you, but it's like, this is garbage compared to the Han and Leia. Like, at least then it was good.
It starts out funny because the only reason
it's funny is because Val Kilmer does so good as Mad Mardigan. Sorsha is horrible the entire time.
Yeah, I mean, as a 10-year-old kid, we don't pick up on that kind of stuff. So, in retrospect, yes, it didn't really work, but. Like, I just chalk it up to it's a classic movie that I like, so I don't really care about that.
No, I know, but I'm just saying it was bad like, then, God. And it's hella worse now.
Yeah.
Like, because now it's like, oh, I'm this almighty queen of this kingdom, and I'm supposed to be good for some reason, even though I was totally not an evil soldier for years and years under the whatever her name was, like as a lieutenant or something.
Well, it's her daughter.
Oh, I know, but she was like a
she was like a general or a lieutenant or whatever
position.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to think about this any longer because I'm dreading having to watch the rest of the season. Yeah, let's just close this out. Don't watch this show, ladies and gentlemen.
This is a huge L, Disney.
Yeah, especially when some of the recent stuff has been pretty good, but this is a no. You guys, like, I would rather you guys just take it down and either redo it or just stop.
Nah, just
stop. Like,
I mean, keep the first episode up just because it's hilariously bad, but just delete everything else.
Yeah, I'm really disappointed.
I even had this great idea that when we would do this episode and you would ask me, "Oh, what did you think?" and I would just be like, "What?" and just end it right there. That would have been hilarious.
It would have been really, really funny. I would have got it too.
That would have been better than this entire show. Or well, this episode, basically the entire show. Let's be honest.
Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, what did you guys think of the beginning of the Willow TV show?
Hopefully you don't have thoughts, because hopefully you didn't watch it.
Yeah, if you didn't watch it and you're checking our video to find out whether or not you should watch it, don't.
Unless you want a good laugh.
But even then, it's not really worth it.
It's not really worth the time.
If you're a Willow fan, you should not watch this under any circumstances.
Yeah.
Like, even if you want a good laugh, don't watch it.
Oh, that's another. Yeah, that's another thing. If you actually care about Willow, just don't watch it.
Don't watch it.
But if you have like how I felt, where it's like, oh, I didn't know anything about it, and you just want to see something hilariously bad, I guess. Sure.
But even then, like, it's not worth the 55 minutes of your time.
You want us to watch something else, but
yeah.
It's
all right. Well, let us know what you guys thought of the things that we talked about, whether or not they are important to you or not, whether or not you feel the same way that we feel about the things that they did in this TV show. We'll give you guys an update at the end of the season. I will watch the rest of the season, take one for the team, and we'll do a final impressions once it's done. I don't even know how many episodes there's supposed to be.
I don't know. Hopefully not a lot.
Hopefully it's like 4.
Oh, I doubt it.
But
come on, dude. Like the end of the episode is when they introduce Willow. This shit's going on for at least 8 episodes.
Yeah, you're right.
At least.
Yeah, they wait till the end of the episode to introduce Willow, but then 2 minutes later they introduce the second biggest character in this freaking show.
Yeah, and then cut.
And then
what?
All right, let us know what you guys thought. Please like, subscribe, comment, share with a friend. Catch us on social media, Anykind Media Cast on Instagram and Twitter. And to close this out on a good note, just want to say thank you to each and every one of you guys that are watching our videos. We're still, we're a small channel, but we've been consistently getting more and more views, and it makes what we do and the time and the effort that we put into this worth it. And we appreciate everybody that watches our videos and likes and comments. So we really look forward to hearing from you guys. Thank you guys. Catch you guys in the next episode.
Bye, guys.